Real talk. This ramen is gonna cost close to $500, so it better be fucking good. Sam's looking at me like I'm crazy. Honestly, I am. Truthfully, this is largely for Ozzy. He loves ramen, like it's literally one of his favorite foods. And you know, I can be such a cunt all the time, so I try to just do nice, sweet things for him and make him cool stuff. He knows I'm making him ramen. He has no idea about the truffle, and I can't wait to surprise him. Of course, assuming it ends up being good. We'll see. So we're gonna start by making our ramen base. Broth, I think is the word I'm looking for, maybe not base. So I'm gonna saute some onions first. That's 2 diced yellow onions. Once these soften a little, I'm gonna add garlic. Usually I do like 10 cloves of garlic, but I only have like 4 cloves left, so we're just gonna roll with it, whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine. Also, I need to start using a spoon rest. Like, look at that. Trash. I'm in a weird mood today, if I'm being fully honest. Probably not the best of days to be recording. I am still having sinus issues and I have so much lymph buildup. Like my face is so puffy, my nose is so puffy. I am actually truly terrified that it's not a sinus thing and that it could be a tooth thing, but I don't think so. I think that's just my biggest fear. But yeah, I just feel very, you know, those days where you just don't feel cute. Like I just do not feel cute. Like no matter what I do, I don't feel cute. Again, a lot of it is because my nose is so puffy. I care even less, honestly, about my cheeks being puffy. I care a lot about my nose being this puffy. I don't like it. But whatever. I'm so pumped for this ramen. Like I really, really hope it ends up being good. If not, it's gonna be a fantastic waste of, I'm not even joking, fucking $500. Like who does this? Like Italy, could you please sponsor? Someone, anyone, I'll take anyone at this point. But I think it could be so good. And if it's good, we're gonna change the game with our fucking ramen. Now listen, you might be like, okay, I'm not gonna spend like $500 grand on something that should cost 99 cents. And I hear you, you don't have to do the truffle. Like you could just make a normal ramen and I'll kind of talk you through how you can adapt this to make it, you know, just kind of a standard plant-based ramen that still tastes really rich and creamy, but it's in reality a lot lighter. I also was wearing cashmere first, but then I remembered, was it last week that we did the French inspired recipe? I remembered how hot I was that day and I was like, let's go ahead and put on something sheer and airy and loose and breezy. So here we are. Okay, I'm gonna keep letting this go for a bit. Now here's kind of the run of the episode. We're gonna get the broth going. I'll move it to the stove in the back so it's out of the way. And then we'll make the plant-based egg. And then we'll roast some veggies for the ramen and boil the noodles. And then we'll combine everything and fucking eat. So excited. And I'm actually, besides just the regular truffle thing, I'm doing a few things different. So this is pretty experimental. We'll see how it goes, but I kind of want to know from you, do you like it when it's a less tested recipe and we find out together in real time if it's going to be good or not? Or do you prefer a recipe that I've tested and retested and I know it's gonna be good? Like, are you here for the story or are you here to get a legit functioning good recipe? Like, let me know, because I'm comfortable either way. I did write some notes on a little blush card just of how I want to do the recipe based on how I've done ramen in the past. Obviously the outlier here is the white truffle. All right, I'm gonna grab the garlic, and usually I would chop up the garlic a little, but I'm not going to because it's gonna get blended in anyway, so like, who gives a shit, you know? No, I'm like so hungry and so excited. Also, we're not doing a drink this episode at all. Maybe I'll grab, do you know these Sanzo drinks? They're flavored sparkling waters, and I really, really love these because the flavor's light, everything about it is pretty light. Now they did reformulate, and now they have sugar. By the way, these are all gifted, I should say. They have reformulated since they first sent them to me, and now they have a bit of sugar in them, but it's so little. Like 1 can of this has 1 gram of added sugar. Like really not the end of the world. The whole thing has 5 calories. I like that there aren't a lot of like artificial sweeteners, although there is a little monk fruit juice extract. But yeah, this is a yuzu flavor with a little bit of ginger. I might just have one. And I don't usually, I did tell Ozzy earlier, I was like, no, we do not do carbonated things on recording day because, you know, I don't want to get bloated or burp, like how gross. But whatever, it's kind of on theme with ramen to have a Japanese drink, you know? This is looking pretty good. So see how they're browning a little? Now we have a bit of flavor. I'm gonna kind of add everything else. So I'm gonna do about 7 cups of water in here. I say about because I am gonna kind of eyeball it. So this is 4 cups. I know because I measured it, so I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate how to add another 3. Yeah, that should be about 3 more cups right there. By the way, how chic is this? I got it in Mexico City, and you probably can't see on camera, but it's very thick glass, like really, really thick. And you can see the air bubbles in the glass. Like, I don't know, it's just so chic. Speaking of chic, look at my shit in a Ziploc bag. I'm doing 7 of these dried shiitake caps. We're gonna take these out. What's that? 5, 6, 7, and a couple of sheets of kombu. I like to use Pacific kombu because it's sturdier. I think that's kind of the only reason. I kind of like the flavor more, although I don't know if it's really even that different. I've heard people, and by people, I don't mean scientists or doctors, I mean people who claim that they are channeling God about nutrition information without dropping any names, say that you should only have Atlantic kombu and not Pacific, but I haven't heard anything real that would corroborate that. So we're gonna move this pot off of here, onto the stove and move on with our lives. Okay, now it's time for the egg. Now this is one of my most tested, no, not one of, I think it's literally my most tested and researched recipe out there. I spent months before I even got in the kitchen. I literally spent months with an Excel sheet, and that's a lie. It's technically not an Excel sheet. I technically used a Google sheet, but literally no one gives a shit. I spent months on that fucking Google sheet thinking of ingredients that could mimic an egg texture, appearance, taste, etc., but that would also have nutrients that are similar to an actual egg. Is it perfectly in line? No, but it's pretty fucking close. And I'm gonna say something crazy, hear me out. I think the egg white tastes better than a real egg white. The egg yolk, not so much. And the reason the egg yolk doesn't taste as good as a real egg yolk is because I wanted to make it lighter. A real egg yolk is just like 99% fat. I wanted one that's a little bit lighter, but still has similar-ish nutrients. There's some that are missing. It's like pretty impossible to get the amount of choline that you would get from a chicken egg from any sort of plants. So like the choline is not going to be even close, but I did try to make it nutritionally analogous. Now that's just for the nutrients. And then came the R&D, if you will, with the actual making of the egg. And there were a few issues I ran into, and I just kept doing it over and over and over again. Ultimately, this was the best solution that I found. So we're gonna start with, this is agar powder. If you're not familiar, I believe agar is a type of seaweed, or it comes from a type of seaweed or something to that extent. And it's kind of used as a vegan collagen alternative. alternative. Also for this recipe, I really recommend using an immersion blender. I found that using my big stand-up Vitamix, this is a Vitamix immersion blender, by the way, fucking love Vitamix in this household. But I found that using the stand-up Vitamix blender, like one of the really cool things about a Vitamix is that it can whip a lot of air into things, which I think is amazing for 99.9% of recipes. Like there are some recipes of mine that I'm like, don't even make it if you're not going to make it in a Vitamix, because you're not going to be able to get that aeration that's going to make it so good. But for this one, we don't want air bubbles, and it's really hard to not get air bubbles. And the best way that I found is using an immersion blender. So we're going to start with, let me just double check to make sure I have it right. Yeah, 2 teaspoons of this agar powder. This is a half teaspoon thing, so we're gonna do 4 of these. And 2/3 cup of water. I'm just gonna use the immersion blender to blend it a little bit. See how we already have fucking air bubbles? You know, you do your best. Let me actually try to pop them a little. Yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna throw this in the microwave, and we're gonna go for 30-second increments. So actually, hold on. See how this looks now, just visually? Okay, got it. So in the microwave, you're gonna wait for it to bubble up, and then it's time to take it out, and the whole consistency and appearance is gonna completely change, just so you know what to look for. Good time for me to have more of these. You know what, I might have a code for this brand if you wanna order them. They're also on Amazon now, so I'll make sure to link if at minimum, and if I have a code, I'll let you know. They have a bunch of other flavors too. Okay, so this, not quite ready yet. I just put on another 60 seconds, but I'm gonna monitor it. As soon as it's ready, I'm gonna pop it out and start blending and adding stuff. So I'll actually just talk you through. So I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of this. It's called black salt. Now you might notice it's not black in the way that we know the color black. It's from Pakistan, I believe, and it's a very high sulfur salt. And the reason that we use this is because eggs have a lot of sulfur in them, and adding this gives it that eggy feel. Like as soon as this interacts with liquid, it smells like egg. Everything fucking smells like egg. We're not gonna use too much of it though, because I feel like the sulfury quality of eggs is not like anyone's favorite thing about eggs, you know? Shit, I wasn't monitoring this at all, but see how it looks pretty different? I'm gonna put it in for a bit more and just see if it's bubbling up, because I was not paying attention, whoopsie. You know, I'm reading a sci-fi book right now, so I learned in the sci-fi book that apparently the mesh thing on microwaves is what prevents you from like your head exploding when you stand right up against the microwave. So the microwaves are big enough to, like the light waves of a microwave are big enough. Hold on, the story can wait. Oh my God, I just knocked all the black salt out. Great, great, great. Off to a great start. It'll be really fun if I fuck this up on camera. Okay, alrighty. Cool, cool, cool. By the way, if you're wondering why there are 350 measuring spoons here, you're gonna find out in a second. I keep ordering more and Ozzy's like, seriously, do we need this many measuring spoons? And I'm like, we literally do, yes. I wish there was a way to make this go even milder, but unfortunately there is not. So now while this is spinning, I'm gonna pour in the soy milk. So we're gonna do 1.5 cups of soy milk. Now a little tip with this, the more the liquid line goes above the bulbous part of the blending, the less aeration you're gonna get. Okay, not too bad bubbles wise. I'll see what I can get rid of, if you will. Jesus Christ. With this fork. Because as it turns out, real egg whites don't have air bubbles on the top. So now I have my egg mold. I'll link these, I got it on Amazon. We're gonna pour these in and then we're gonna use all the measuring spoons to create a cavity for the egg yolk. Also, how fun is it to say the word cavity when you know what it literally means and it's no longer the scary like dentist word? Unfortunately, literally all of these have air bubbles. Now, if the bubbles can sit in where the yolk cavity is, non-issue, because the fake yolk is gonna go in there anyway, you know what I mean? But if they're all over the place, like a lot of these are, and you don't have a lot of time because the agar starts to set quite quickly. I actually was gonna film this like on a different day, and then I was like, fuck it, it sets in like 10 minutes, so we're gonna have to be waiting for the broth anyway. All right, let's start putting spoons in. I'm putting the like worse spoons in the shittier ones and the better spoons in. And by better, I mean in terms of size, like the size of the cavity that you want. Now, when I tell you this recipe truly ends up being quite yummy, like I genuinely think this version, okay, bit of a shit show, no worries, tastes better than a real egg does. And I know you might not believe me, or a real egg white does. I know you might not believe me, but I genuinely believe that. Then again, that might be why I'm vegan, you know? Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna go move these and then we'll start, maybe we'll do the veggies first and then we'll do the egg yolk and then we'll finish the ramen and cook the noodles and assemble everything, yay, yay, yay. I'm just gonna preheat the oven because we are putting the veggies in here. So I can't wait to sweat my fucking ass off over here. I'm doing convection roast at 400F. You don't have to do convection roast. I just find that it cooks quicker, so that's it. Okay, for the veggies, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Mushrooms obviously pair really nicely with truffles, so we are gonna do a lot of mushrooms. And I have a few different types. I have these white beach mushrooms. I have some brown beach mushrooms and some shiitake and some little baby king oysters. So for these, for the shiitakes, I'm gonna pull the stems off because they can be really tough. You can actually save your stems and use them the next time you wanna make a broth, or you can compost them, or you can just, you know, throw them in the trash like a normal person. Whatever you wanna do is fucking fine. I did used to always save mine for making broth, but then sometimes I just get lazy and I throw them out, you know. So fun fact about me is I don't think I've ever had, what is it called? Do you know that ramen, like the ready 2-minute, the instant noodles? Are they called instant noodles? I think that's what they're called. I don't think I've ever had that. Like I'd never heard of ramen really before I moved to America, but also I moved to America, I was 11. It was 1999, you know, not to age myself. So at the time there just wasn't stuff like that in Germany, like instant food and stuff like that, like I'd never heard of. So just the concept of a noodle that you just pour hot water over and it's like ready in 2 minutes, like it's just not something we ever did in my household. So for these little baby king oysters, I'm gonna do a little, what's it called, a crosshatch? Is that what it's called? This little grid. It's like graphing paper, right? Is that what it was called in math class, graphing paper? I think so. I should know, I was really good at math. One of my biggest regrets in life is not studying math, like making math my major. If I could go back to school now, I would do a double major, one being math and the other, I think I would design my own like science major and do some like biology, some physics, some chemistry. Like that's the shit I was always good at. Well, mostly math. But when I went to college, I was like, oh, I should study international affairs because I speak 3 languages, one of them being Farsi, like that's gonna be valuable, that's how I'll make money. Now, if there are any like high school seniors listening, number one, like please don't, you know. I marked that this is not appropriate for children, and it is not. Number 2, I don't think you should go to college. Oof. See, like if you already were listening, like your parents are going to ban you from listening now. No, I mean, if you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or a field that really requires having gone to college, like totally go to college. Okay, I'm going to stop. We're not going to use like that many. But if you're just going to college, like the reason that everyone my generation went to college, which is that you think that you have to go to college to get a good job, I feel like times have changed and that just isn't really true anymore. But also if you do go to college because like your parents are going to pay for it anyway, or like I think if you don't have to take out student loans, then everyone should go to college. By the way, this is bok choy. I'm going to cut off the flouring bits because actually I'm just going to cut off the more like green bits in general because those won't roast well. And we'll roast a couple of these too for inside the ramen. And then we're gonna save the green bits. So the leaves, I'm just gonna like throw into the broth and let them cook like that. And the flouring bits we'll keep for decor because this is Hiva at the end of the day. But yeah, if you do go to college, I would really recommend like take the classes that interest you because you're gonna do well in those classes and you can always, like so long as you take some useful classes or whatever, like you can always, it really doesn't matter. Like I had a friend in college. Okay, so this is our baking tray, yay. I'm gonna put it in the oven and then we're just gonna yap for a minute. So I had a friend in college who was pre-med, like she wanted to go to med school and she was majoring in art history. And she did the whole pre-med curriculum, but she really liked art history, so that's what she majored in. So that's just kind of a more extreme example of take what interests you. Like I think college is wasted on the youth. It really is. Like if I went back to college now, I would fuck it up. Like you pay so much money. Do you know how much money you're paying for that shit? Like you could get a free education on YouTube. Like don't go to college, honestly. Anyway, okay. These are in the oven. Let me grab some stuff and we're gonna do the egg yolk and we're gonna do it in a completely different way than I've ever done it before. We'll see how it goes and I'm gonna talk you through my rationale. Okay, a few things happened during that break. Number 1, I peed for maybe like the 35th time in the past 2 hours. So I did a lot of manual lymphatic drainage on myself this morning to kind of help clear whatever kind of congestion I have going on. And I think it must be taking effect now because I keep peeing. And I did look in the mirror and I thought I looked significantly less puffy. I don't know, maybe not. So that was number 1. Number 2, I turned the broth stock pot off because that's good. We'll address that in a few. And number 3, I put a big pot of water on for our noodles and I'll talk about the noodles later, but oh, and I also sprayed a little avocado oil on the veggies in the oven. I didn't do it at first because mushrooms have a lot of water in them, and I guess for having optimal mushroom flavor, by the way, Ozzy gave me this knife for my first birthday when we were together. Not my literal first birthday because he didn't know me then. That would have been a little pedophilic if he did. But he had it engraved. It says Plant Queen on it. That was the name of my iPhone at the time. This is such an embarrassing story. So in 2019, I was listening to this podcast and this girl who was a comedian said on the podcast, her name's Rachel, that she had named her iPhone. You know how you name your phone? Do you know what I'm talking about if you have Apple products? Like your phone has a name. If you didn't name it anything, it's probably like iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, whatever. And then when you airdrop things to people, the name shows up. So this girl, Rachel, who's a comedian, said that she named her iPhone Rachel the comedian, and the other chick was like, yeah, it's like manifestation. And I was like, oh, what should I name my iPhone so I can manifest too? And so I was like, oh, I'll name it Plant queen because I don't know what the fuck I was doing with my life. I just knew I was doing something plant adjacent. And so when Ozzy and I first started dating, my phone was named Plant Queen, and I don't know how he found out, but it was like so embarrassing. Anyway, nowadays I actually have this fun game, life hack if you're bored and looking for things to do. I do this like literally, I think like once or twice a week. I change my iPhone name to some kind of dumb inside joke between Ozzy and I. Now the trick is, and then I airdrop him something, anything. It really doesn't matter what I airdrop. The point is like I want him to see the new iPhone name so he laughs. But because he has me saved in his phone, I can't airdrop to his phone. I have to do it to his laptop where he doesn't have his contacts synced. So yeah, I change it up a lot. I don't know what it is right now. Wait, should I go check to see what it is? It's probably so silly. Okay, hold on. Where is it even? General? About. Okay, it's currently sick cunt. So yeah, once in a while Ozzy gets an airdrop from me that's like from just the most weird nonsensical shit. Okay, let's talk about this egg yolk real quick before we go on 6,000 more tangents. So I've done this a billion different ways. This is my favorite method. I might just pull the seeds out of this. I am using a plum tomato, so they do have fewer seeds, but I'll just pull some of them out just because we do want this to be really, really smooth. As you know, real egg yolks are not chunky, so yeah, don't want that. I've done this, like I said, so many different ways. My favorite way that I think really balances flavor with nutrition is doing tomato with oil. And you might be like, but a tomato's fucking red. Hear me out. The tomato plus the oil gets pretty orangey, and I don't want to do an egg that has like a very yellow yolk. I want to do an egg that has a more orangey yolk. Like my fake eggs are from chickens that are kept really happy on really nice farms. And okay, now let me talk about it. I think the best way to do a fake vegan egg yolk is the tomato with a neutral oil. I usually do an avocado oil and a little bit of black salt. But because this is for our truffle ramen, I figured instead of doing the neutral oil, let me just do the white truffle oil because I'm not gonna add truffle oil into the base because according to ChatGPT, the flavor will dissipate with the heat. And so this way we get the garnish of the oil and it's all gonna mix in. I think it's gonna be really good. I don't know, we're gonna find out. I'm not gonna add black salt to this. Actually, maybe I'll add a pinch. No, I'm not going to because like, I don't give a fuck. That's why. You know what, maybe I will a little bit, but like I don't really need this to taste like really sulfur eggy. Again, I feel like the sulfur aspect of the egg is like the least important part of the egg. You know what I mean? Also, I need more of that oil, so I'm gonna have to grab my ladder and climb and get to watch me do that because I didn't plan this properly. Now this is, in my opinion, and I feel like I'm able to have a good opinion on this, the best truffle oil. They also have a black version that's way cheaper because white truffles are far more expensive than black truffles are, but for good reason. They taste a lot fucking better. It's a lot more truffle flavor. Again, if you're just making like the normal version of this ramen, more power to you. You're gonna save a lot of fucking money. I would just use avocado oil for this. And I'll do a little bit of black salt, just a tiny bit. That truffle smells so fucking good. Okay, I think this guy's done. I think the veggies are done also. Still waiting on the water to boil. Let me just grab these out of the oven. Ooh, they look so good. Look at that. Stunning, sizzling, yummy, yummy. Let's see how this egg yolk situation is. Ooh, okay, it's a little creamier than necessary. Oh, fuck yeah. Ooh, that is so nice. Oh my God. Wait, this is like my new favorite thing ever. So I was thinking we could take some of the leaves from this bok choy and just cut them up. Cause like we have to have something green, and then I'm gonna add some scallions too. Oh, so back to my ramen story. Yeah, so I've never had those instant noodles thing. In fact, the first time in my life that I had instant noodles, unless I'm not remembering something, which is entirely possible, but I believe the first time in my life that I had instant noodles was in 2011. I was dating this guy, and he introduced me to this like Korean brand. It's like a Korean kind of version of those. What are they called? Instant noodles? No, it's not Miracle Noodles. It's instant noodles. So I'm cutting these scallions on a diagonal. I just think like A, it looks better, but B, I don't know, there's just more surface area to get flavor. I don't know if that's a thing. Also, highly recommend keeping your scallions in a cup of water in the fridge. Like, you would not believe how old these scallions are. They just kind of keep growing, so that's cool. Anyway, actually you can tell because like, look at how the ends are all curled up. Like, they're old as fuck. Anyway, so it was like some like kind of Korean version of that type of noodle thing. Really, really yummy. So we'd always get those. And I like really, like I instantly became a pro at fucking instant noodles. Like I started jazzing them up with all this stuff. Like I should have seen coming that one day I'd be doing this shit. Like everyone would be like, oh yeah, he was so good at making the noodles. Yeah, I just add shit into them. I can't even remember what anymore, but everyone was always hanging out at my apartment back in those days. That's actually one of the eras in my life that I look back on so fondly. Like it was just so, like everyone would always be over at my place after school, after work every day. And then the first time I had ramen was actually like real ramen. I don't think I've ever had instant ramen. Like that's kind of crazy when you think about it. It was a few years later, I had a crush on this guy who really liked this one ramen place, and he took me on a date there, but I barely ate because I had like an eating disorder, so. But then after that, this other place in DC, this is all when I still lived in DC, this other place in DC started doing delivery ramen. It was like kind of hard to get delivery ramen. So then I would order it all the time because back then in my eating disorder era, I would only eat alone. I would never eat around other people. Okay, so we have this stuff for the toppings and the veggies, obviously. Let me check on this water real quick. Nope, still not boiling. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'll bring the pot for the broth over, and we're gonna finish making the broth. How does that sound? Okay, I really do think the lymph is moving because not only did I just pee again, but also my rings are starting to fall off, so. Okay, it's broth time. I'm so excited for this. So we're gonna pull the mushrooms and kelp out of this, but try to leave the onions and garlic in, which is easier said than done, but you know, we do what we can. Now the mushrooms I throw away. I find that like dehydrated and rehydrated mushroom thing to be quite disgusting personally. The kelp, I like to eat separately, but that's just a me thing. I don't think like the average person is into that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna need some of my measuring spoons back from the whole egg thing, but that's fine because I think the eggs are actually perfectly set. So let me grab some miso. I love this brand of miso. They're not like, they've never given me anything free. I actually think they don't really like me, to be completely honest. If anyone from South River is watching, like, what have I done to you? I feel like I'm nothing but good to you, but whatever. I really, really like this brand. Their sweet white miso is my favorite. I need some tamari and my white truffle powder, and I think that's it. Ozzy has no idea what's coming for him. Like, he's gonna be so excited. Wait, let me just make sure. White truffle powder. Oh, and soy milk, duh. By the way, these people are good to me, and I have to, like, I know I talk about this a lot. There are no words for how much I fucking love this soy milk. Like, starting to buy this soy milk has been the biggest game changer in my life. It's so creamy. Like, they're not paying me. They're really not. Like, they have for other things in the past. They do not pay me to talk about this 24/7. They really, really do not. But I'm so fucking obsessed with this soy milk. Like, And every single person I put onto it, which is a lot of people, like literally hundreds of people, all say the same thing. Like it has 10% protein. By 10%, I mean 10% of its calories come from protein, which is pretty high. That's like, we're looking at like steak numbers. So like a cup of it has 12 grams of protein, which is a lot. No added sugars. The ingredients are literally just soybeans and water. How it tastes so creamy, I will never fucking understand. But like I make ice cream with it. I make everything with it. It's so fucking good. Okay, what am I grabbing? Oh, I need measuring spoons and they're all occupied by my egg bullshit. Okay, this will work. Just dirtying 450 measuring spoons today. And I need my immersion blender, so I cleaned it off after the egg thing. By the way, I can't wait for the egg reveal. You're gonna die. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in here. That works. Oh, and the soy milk. Oh, whatever. We'll deal with that in a sec. So I'm doing 2 tablespoons of this. And I'm probably gonna get my white shirt dirty today, and it is what it is. What can you do? 3 tablespoons of the miso. Ah! Should have seen that coming. Let's get that in there. And I'll just have this guy fuck off because we don't need her anymore. Oh, fuck yeah, this is boiling. Okay, quick intermission. I'm just gonna throw the noodles in. Now, I spent like a solid 30 minutes at the Asian grocer today trying to find fresh ramen noodles. I really had to like read ingredients over and over again. By the way, I'm not even gonna show you this on the overhead because like I think you understand the concept of throwing noodles into water. Like you don't need me to demo that for you. Hopefully I don't fuck this up though. They're supposed to cook for 2 minutes. So right on the counter, like a savage. Like literally what's wrong with me? The instructions said to pull them apart a little before you toss them in the water. So I guess I'll do that. All right, so I have my tamari in there. I have my miso in there. I'm just gonna start blending this for now, and then I'll go rinse the noodles because they don't need very long. And then I'll add the white truffle powder and the soy milk in there next. You know what, I think I'm missing a mushroom. Yeah, you really do want to take the mushrooms out. The texture's just like weird. Like I've done this before and was like, oh, let me just blend the mushrooms in. I'm sure it'll be great. It was not. Remember what I was saying before about how when the water is like well over the line, there's like less aeration. So you're seeing the reverse of it here right now. Okay. Yeah, these don't look cooked. Let me taste one. Yeah, no, that's not cooked at all. I'll put the lid back on too. I'm sure that'll help. Back to here. Oh, but let me tell you what I used to always get. This was my favorite ramen. Actually, there were 2 that I really, really liked. I can't remember what this place was called. It's on 18th Street in DC. I would get their veggie ramen. I really liked it because it had corn in it. That's actually one of my favorite ramen toppings. But then I would add the pork belly and the egg. And then I really liked the Don Don ramen from this other place. I honestly can't even remember what it was called. Ooh, okay. Noodles might be ready. Oh, hell yeah. These look a lot more cooked. Yeah, they're still bouncy and chewy. Okay, you guys are missing like a whole crisis over here, and I'm actually so glad. The entire sink is basically overflowing with noodles. It is psychotic. Whatever. There's still some noodles in here. I'm not even gonna deal with it. Okay, that was fun. All right, back to this. So I'm gonna kind of blend while I pour this in because the soy milk has so much protein. I just don't want it to curdle. Oh, fuck yeah, that looks so good. Unlike the scene in the sink. All right, I kind of want to taste this, see how it is. And then I'm gonna add in the truffle. Fuck yeah, that's good. You know what? I could do a bit more tamari in here. I'll do one more, so that brings us to 3 teaspoons. You know what? I'll do just one more too. Hopefully that's not too much. So that brings us to 4 tablespoons, not teaspoons, of tamari in here. So 3 tablespoons of miso, 4 tablespoons of tamari. That's it, that's the way. And now I'm gonna add in my white truffle. So I'm gonna start with 1 teaspoon. So we don't wanna overpower. And then we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna do something you should never do. Okay, BRB, I'm gonna have to ask Ozzy to open this for me. Wait, fuck, but he can't know. Okay, no, I'm gonna have to find another way to get this open. You know what, if I can cause an entire mess of noodles all over the kitchen, I can do this by myself too. All right, I feel like the rest of the episode is just gonna be me trying to get this open. Tweezers. Yeah. Okay. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so we'll do 2 of these. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be dramatic, but that's probably like one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life. And I know I say that all the time, but here's the thing. I'm constantly outdoing myself, like, but in all seriousness, that's insane. Oh, I can't wait to have it all assembled, and you don't even know the kicker yet. I mean, maybe you can surmise. Is everything done? Yeah, noodles are ready, veggies are ready, broth is ready, egg is ready. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna use these bowls. I'm obsessed with them, so chic, so pretty, yay, yay, yay. Let's assemble our fucking ramen and we'll do the egg at the same time. Okay, let me just show you what happened here. This isn't even all the fucking noodles. Like who did I think I was cooking for? Okay, I think it's time to assemble. So I'm just gonna grab a handful of noodles like, you know, a monster might. Like, who does it like this? What the fuck? It's so much noodle. What the fuck? Hang on, let me grab a ladle. Okay, hold on a second. Let's ladle some broth in. Should I have done the broth first and then put the noodles on top? Or like, I feel like it probably doesn't really matter, huh? Okay, that seems good for now. Let's add some toppings. Let's do a bit of mushroom, some of this bok choy. That actually smells so good, by the way. Do a bit of the brown beach mushroom for each of these, and some shiitakes. Some of these pretty king oyster with the, is that lattice cut, did we decide it's called? My grasp on this language is so fast and so loose. And now it's time for egg. So here's our final eggs. We're gonna take the measuring spoons out. Now you can see some air bubbles underneath the measuring spoons. That's fine, because we're gonna fill those with the yolk, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. And now it's yolk time. Now what I love about this is between the fake egg and the soy milk in the broth, there's actually so much protein. You could always add a protein. I was gonna do some kind of tofu thing for it too, but I honestly just wasn't in the mood. And I figured because there is all this other stuff, it's like not quite necessary. Okay, so pretend I did a better job of this, and we're gonna kind of mask it with some shit so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna add some of this bok choy stuff, some scallions. Oh, I forgot about the bok choy flowers, but first we have to get to the best part of this. Okay, the part of this that I'm the most excited for is we're gonna shave some fucking truffle on top. That's the level we're taking this. Okay, so I got these black summer truffles that are preserved. So we'll do a bit of this, but even more exciting, I got a fresh white truffle. And that is why this shit is so fucking expensive, but it's so fucking worth it. I'm just tightening the mandolin so it's really, we're gonna do really thin slices. Oh my God. Oh, Ozzy's gonna die. Like, this is gonna buy me so much licensing to be a cunt for a while. You heard it here first. Make a good meal, act like a psycho. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my mesh gloves for the mandolin because you know how I feel about this. I'm about to slice a fucking finger off. Also, like, I can't even resist. I'm sorry, I have to have a bit of this truffle. Okay, where are we at? I can't even, like, this is unreal. Now, the time has come for our fresh white truffle. I've never been more excited for anything in my entire fucking life. Oh, that smell. If there was a way for smell to go through, look at that, look at that. I'm gonna die. Oh my God. If there was a way for smell to go through, actually I have kind of a crazy story. So why don't I have my mesh gloves on? In 2020, I vividly, oh my God, fucking white truffle, what the fuck? In 2020, my mom and I were on the phone once. It was at night. I remember everything about this scene vividly. And all of a sudden, I just smelled something that was like the best smell I've ever smelled. I can't explain it. It was kind of like roses, but better. I'm gonna save the rest of this and we're just gonna add it as we eat, but I feel like aesthetically, visually, we have enough here. It was literally like roses, but better. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, it was like nothing I've ever smelled before. It was like it was straight from heaven, but I didn't say anything. I was just thinking it in my head, trying to make sense of, you know, I lived alone. There was no one else there. Like, where could this smell have suddenly come from? And I'm just like chatting with my mom as I'm thinking about this like fucking heavenly smell. And then my mom out of nowhere goes, what's that smell? And I was like, what? And she goes, that smell, oh my God, that's an amazing smell. It's like it's roses, but better. And I was like, how are you smelling what I'm smelling? Now keep in mind, I was in New York, she was in DC, nowhere close to each other. I don't know how. I really don't. Okay. Hello? Can you even with how fucking good this looks? I am dying. You know what? I'm gonna add a bit of shoyu salt on top just to have a little more texture. And I like the flavor too. That is insane. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. What the fuck? I have to eat this truffle right now. That is so fucking creamy and good. Holy shit. Okay, I literally cannot contain myself. Like, this is insane. I can't wait for Ozzy to see. I feel like he's gonna shit himself when he sees what I made for him. Maybe I can try to like sneakily record his reaction when he finds out what it is. You know, New York is a single party consent state when it comes to recordings, so I can legally record him without him knowing and put it on here. And that's what all grown girlfriends do. Fuck me, that's so good. You know what, let me have some of this egg too. Honestly, even if you don't do a truffle ramen, I still think you should use the white truffle oil and the egg yolk. Is it gonna taste like a normal egg yolk? No, it's gonna taste a billion times better. Do that. The egg white really does taste like a better version of a real egg white though. I'm gonna die. Last thing, I sometimes will marinate the egg white in some soy sauce and a little splash of rice vinegar and maybe a little splash of coconut aminos. I didn't do that today, but that's also a lovely option. I'm gonna go get Ozzy. We're gonna eat this shit. We're gonna watch some TV, I think maybe, I don't know. But like, I'm gonna die. Like this has to get in my belly right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love ya. Bye. Yeah, I'm done. Come here. Do you want to know the surprise? It's white truffle ramen. Doesn't that look good?
It's amazing.
You excited? Fucking white truffle ramen? I thought I'd have a bigger reaction.